And you know, we were talking about that conditioned response. Big thing about my groundwork is, you know, if I want my horse to move, I'm going to direct him and give him a signal. If he doesn't move, I'll go ahead and put more pressure on him here at his drive line. Now when I want him to stop, I'm going to give him the signal that I want his hips to disengage, and I want him soft on the end of that lead rope. At first, you know, when you're building that, they don't understand. So you always have to, every time you put pressure on a horse, you have to give him a consistent signal. Inconsistency is what creates insecurity, which is when horses become, you know, neurotic and stuff. But if I can be as consistent as possible, I'm building my horse's confidence. Now, if he comes around here, I'm going to go ahead and give him the signal to disengage his hindquarters. Now, if he doesn't disengage him like I want to, I'm going to go ahead and get after him a little bit there. Now that I've got control of his feet, you know, forwards, backwards, left and right, I can move him backwards here. That's a trained response. When I put pressure on his nose and he backs up, I reward him by leaving him alone. There's no sense me just pushing on him until he stops and then rewarding him. I want to make sure that when I put pressure on him, he's going to give. Same when he's coming forward. If I go to, this horse, he's not a great leader. I mean, or follower, whatever you want to call it. But if I pull on that rein, I'm just going to hold it until he comes along. There. When he comes along, then I'm going to reward him. Now, I want to desensitize him because I want him to separate the difference between me putting pressure on him to get him to do something and me just putting pressure on him and him having to ignore it. And like I have my whip here, so what I want him to do is I want him to ignore this whip. So the first thing I'll do is I'll take it away. I don't want to get in his flight zone. He has a bubble around him that once I encroach on his flight zone, he's going to want to flee. So what I want to do is shrink that bubble down. So I'm going to start out here. Now, if he wants to keep moving, now when I decide that he's starting to think, I'm going to reward him. But what I really don't want to do is pop this whip and then have him run away and then stop. What I want to do is keep popping it. Now if he decides to move, I'm going to go ahead and keep on going until he quits moving his feet, then I'll reward him. So I'm making that a conditioned reflex. I'm taking away his flight, trying to shrink down his flight zone right now. I don't want to hold him, I want him to stand there. I'm just going to go ahead and walk up to him here. Now if he wants to walk away from me, I've got enough control of his feet that when he stops and stands there, I'm going to reward him. I might do it again. I want it to be his idea to stop and stand there. I'm looking for a change. He was flinching there, you know. So anyway, what I'm looking for is for him to soften up a little bit. Either that or I want him to stand there long enough to where he quits thinking about fleeing. He's thinking about it. I'm going to just go ahead and keep doing it here until he decides that, you know, fleeing's no big deal. I'm much better off just standing here. Now I might go ahead and, I'm just going to go ahead and swap sides. I want to make sure and do everything on both sides evenly. Keep them balanced. Now right now, it's not really having any effect on him. Starting to. I'm just shrinking up that bubble all the time. So I'm going to start again. I'm going to advance and retreat. I'm going to start out here. If he's accepting that, I'm going to quit. Now, if he wants to move, that's a good thing because he's got to explore that. I've given him every chance to do it the easy way. Now, if he wants to explore the other options, that's fine. The second he stops, I'll reward him. I'm going to go ahead and put a little more pressure on his bubble now. He's not too sure about me touching it with him, touching him with it. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep on desensitizing him. If he wants to move his feet, I'm not going to beg him. I'm just going to go ahead and say, to let him figure out that it's a lot easier to stand there and accept it than it is to try and run away. When I feel like he's decided in his mind that he might just explore that option, I'll reward him. I'll do the same thing on the other side. I'm not hurting him with it. I'm just showing him that, you know, he can walk sideways all day. He's not going to get away from me. I've got enough control of his feet to where I can direct it, put it in the direction that I want it to. If he was to run forwards, yeah, I'm not going to be able to keep up with him, but I've got enough control of his hip to where he's going to have to walk sideways if he wants to get away. And you know what? He can't ever get away from me. Yeah, once he figures out that's not such a bad deal, go ahead and do this side again. There, that's pretty good right there. There we go. I mean, I'll just look for little signs, you know, he's starting to relax there. Now, I'm going to go ahead and crack it again, just see if that has an effect on him. Not too bad. Now that I've got him to stop moving his feet, I still want to make sure that I can move him. There we go. Can still drive him around, direct him where I want to go.